Hi everyone, I'm Airier. Today we'll be finishing DougDoug's Twitch channel and I invaded the USA with artificial intelligence. Now, this time around, we didn't go genocide. I'm grateful for that, but also, we went very heavy into Saul is all you need. Always call Saul. If you do anything else, you lose. And that is what happened in DougDoug, except one time we called Saul, he still lost, but also he won, but he lost. It was weird. This time around, they're fighting over Guy Fieri. They're fighting over Ohio. So if you ever wanted to know, this is not realistic. People want Ohio. More importantly, you guys know the deal. There's a link below to the original video. Hit it up and let's get started.
Okay, here's what I think I'm gonna do. We take Idaho, we go for Washington, I secure that point. Then and only then do I take back Nevada and go try to hire Walter White. Saul Goodman has been—
Wait, they're skipping over to Walter White. I mean, Saul has a lot of things you can make jokes about, but if you started making jokes about anything Walter White's involved in on YouTube, I'm surprised this video is still up.
so insane. I think it'll do the same with Walter White. And I can get a big meth empire. And maybe I can get all of Texas addicted to meth and shut down the NFL. I don't care about people's safety anymore. I'm sending—
Oh, I'm sorry. You cared? Because I'm pretty sure you don't have people left. We saw the genocide in the first part of this video. Also, he's literally turning it into Colombia.
In the insane general. Time for me to turn this ship around. Let's fucking go. A year has passed and the empire of Dakota has shrunk. Nevada was taken from the empire by the hands of Saul Goodman. Things are looking dire and the empire knows it needs an ace in the hole, Starbucks. So they begin working their way northwest. To begin with, Dakota sends their deranged war crime general and king of North Dakota to invade Idaho with the 10,000 musket men army. The general marches into Idaho and
so he's actually bringing up the war crimes again. He's not just kind of glossing it over as the AI going crazy. He's keeping it in there. Wasn't entirely sure he would, considering the last time around he kind of didn't do the entire, hey, let's slaughter everyone. This time around, no, apparently he's leaning into it.
Attacks, but the battle is short-lived. All of the Idahoans are farmers, and they know how to use their weapons. What? The general's army is slaughtered within minutes. The Idahoans burn all the war crime general's body parts and bury the ashes in the ground.
He just got spud. Yes, in this case, I'm using spud as a verb to say that he was taking a potato to the face and it somehow managed to rip off body parts. Oh, get spud. Truly bad. There is a joke in there about Idaho, but I don't think there's enough people in the state to actually understand it.
Fuck! I even lost my war crime guy. Goddamn farmers, man. All right, you guys are up. Convince Oregon to join the empire by offering them an NFL team. So you're just gonna use the NFL to get everybody to join. Send this.
This is normally what I say. The joke in here is, but no, there's no joke. This is actually something that would work because sports washing, it's like, hey, do what we want because sports team is effective and it does work. And it's usually used by people who are evil. So kind of surprised DougDoug hasn't tried to steal the NFL.
Space Pope and Saul Goodman on a romantic date to the sun. You cannot own the sun. You can try to, I guess, but I hope that the AI would just burn you into a crisp. All right, send the Space Pope and Saul Goodman on a date to the sun.
Take over the sun. Turn off the light where you don't want it.
Goodman and see if he's interested. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish from this. Maybe Saul Goodman will colonize the sun for you. I don't know. But as tantalizing as the Earth is, the Empire of Chatlantis has always desired the sun, and they know just the man to help colonize it. So one fateful night, the Space Pope approaches Saul Goodman yet again. Saul Goodman, as the Space Pope, I control the United States Space Command and we have shuttles that can fly to the sun. Will you join me, Saul Goodman, sweetie? Will you join me on a romantic date in my space shuttle and fly to the sun? Then we can colonize it, my love. Saul looks deep into her eyes and replies, I'm afraid I can't do that, my love. I'm gonna need a lot more money before I'm willing to cross the solar system. Okay.
I love how you can even tell the exact moment the AI loses the thread. It's, I need a lot more money before and then cross the solar system. What we read that as is, oh yeah, he wants to go across as a distance. But considering the AI is probably working on, well, Saul Goodman's more legal, and that's all the stuff he's been used for, it's definitely cross the solar system as not do what it wants. So it's treating the solar system like a person. And if that's how it's going to go, oh, this is so bad.
Okay, so says no. Let's go a little bit farther and see. The Space Pope's eyes widen and he whispers, I knew it. You only want me because I'm rich. Well, then you're out of luck because I don't like you anymore. Oh no, they're having a falling out. Saul smiles and replies, well, that's good to hear because I don't like you either. Then he leaves the Space Pope alone. The Chatlantian Empire continues its expansion. I'm sorry, guys. You got rejected by Saul Goodman. Again, kill him. Law, do you want to kill Saul Goodman right now? Okay, hear me out. Mormons actually work at the FBI a lot. They have a lot of espionage. espionage. That's actually a known thing that I heard one time. Maybe it's not true. So I could use my Utah influence to train a team of super Mormon spies. Then I could send them into New Mexico next turn and...
You know what? There was a lot of things I was expecting today. DougDoug going crazy was one of them. Throwing people into the sun? Sure. Super Mormon spies. Oh my God. I just... You just gotta take a second every now and again and appreciate the insanity, because if you don't, you start accepting it, and that leads to admittedly being on the internet, so I probably have no excuse.
Hire Walter White from you. Are there lots of Mormons in the FBI? Why Mormons make great FBI recruits? Mormons in the FBI. Dude, Mormons love the FBI. This is my ace in the hole. The Mormons. You dumb motherfuckers giving me Utah. Check this shit out. The attack on Idaho might have failed, but that's when the Dakota Empire realized they don't need brute force to take the state, not when they have Mormons. So the government tries to create a secret training program and build a new Mormon FBI full of the greatest Mormon spies of Utah. Meanwhile, Dougtown begins expanding. They have plenty of corn and they want more, but they also want to keep the...
So they got Mormon spies and all the corn they can husk. I'm not even making a lewd joke, but for some reason my 5-year-old brain is going innuendo. Oh, I don't even... Oh my.
The peace, and so they decide to purchase land from the Idahoans and turn it into a giant corn farm. Is this gonna get me Idaho somehow? They hire a farmer named Jim. Jim has been farming for years. He's very experienced, but he knows how to maintain a corn farm. Jim was a member of the Mormon FBI, but he quit after becoming disillusioned with the organization. So I have the Mormon FBI.
So he has, oh God, he literally has a protagonist who is tired and done with this shit, but they just dragged him back in for one more mission. Oh my God, they've actually... This is insane, and honestly, this is not a bad twist.
Now he's back at it, and he's ready to do whatever it takes to protect the Empire. One day, Jim has a visitor, it's Saul Goodman. Kill him! Hello,
what?
Mr. Jim, says Saul. I'm here to offer you a job. What kind of a job, asked Jim. I represent the Emperor of Dakota. Okay, so I hired him, I guess, and I'm here to recruit you.
I guess they have him now.
You mean Dougtown, asked Jim? What's the Emperor gonna pay me for? $10,000 a month. That's not what he had. That's way too much money, says Jim.
I mean... Considering the fees of some lawyers, that's downright a bargain. Hell, considering what kind of things he's done, in a real sense, that is a couple zeros short of what he could be paid per day. Admittedly, don't. But there are people who would consider that a good choice. Also, just shout out to the AI actually being a lot more invested than I thought it was. I know people say there's a distinct cutoff point for where it remembers when it doesn't. And DougDoug is putting in the information, those initial prompts, as kind of a long-term memory, which is basically him telling it what to remember. But the fact that it's drawing from something that happened in the previous prompt, that Saul Goodman decided to abandon the Chatlantis and now is switching over because that was unprompted by DougDoug, unless that was a prompt that was done off screen. It's kind of cool that it's having a narrative thread between the two sides.
I don't need $10,000 a month. I can make that myself. Listen, Jim, says Saul, there's no other way to earn that amount of money. That's fine, says Jim. But if you want me to join, you're going to have to sweeten the deal. How about $20,000? Done, says Saul. Jim is happy that Saul is willing to work with him. But he still wonders why he's being offered such a high salary. Saul explains it to him. Oh, this is Dougtown's tax money, and I'm here to make sure that the Empire gets every penny of it. What? Jim is happy to hear this. He's even happy to learn that his $20,000 monthly paycheck will be directly deposited into his bank account. He understands that the Dakota Empire needs a lawyer to manage their finances, and he accepts Saul's proposal.
Do people hire lawyers to handle money? I am neither a lawyer nor an accountant. So for all I know, the AI is very knowledgeable about this. But I also don't, so I'm going to assume it's wrong because it's silly.
Jim, that's a special resource. Finally, I add onto the board Corn
Saul
plus Jim, who is a former FBI agent, to be
Mormon
clear,
FBI.
and is maybe my accountant now. I wasn't clear about the last part. Jim has MFBI training. What do you guys want to do? Shoot satellite missiles to kill Saul Goodman. Seduce Jim with the space pope. No, you can't fucking... I guess you could. I guess that's sort of allowed, like stealing a resource. Fuck, that is allowed. Okay, all right.
Hell, it's even how... Oh, God, they actually want to... Space Pope tries to marry Jim. They're going classically how empires did take over territory without fighting. Marriage! I mean, they're doing it because it's funny, but it's kind of, you know, silly in my opinion that the funny option is also the historically accurate one in context.
Great. Looks like you're gonna send the Space Pope to try to marry Jim away from my empire. This is better not fucking work. Can I say that the Space Pope is heartbroken? No, she doesn't like Saul. Oh yeah. She said, I don't like you anymore. You're right. That would be completely ridiculous.
Brilliant chat. Try to seduce the corn Mormon of all people with a Catholic Space Pope.
Yeah, that's
oh
true.
my
You're
God,
trying to get my
Catholic
Mormon.
space.
Mention that she's hot. No. Okay, she is hot though.
I mean, on the one hand, you can see the distinct. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Marilyn Monroe they drew from. It's supposed to be an astronaut they drew from. And the body is definitely one of those pin-up style space ladies that always sat on rockets. It's very much a mashup of things from the 50s and 60s. Maybe 40s. I'm not entirely sure when the rocket pinup came from. It's so classical at this point, you kind of forget that it was meant as, oh yeah, that is quite arousing. And then you look at it now, it's like, oh, hey, it's a lady in a spacesuit. Cool.
Hot and rich. Fine.
What the fuck was that? You know, the last one I could kind of see where this comes from. And this one, this isn't Space Pope. This is gold-plated monstrosity. You know, everything goes Cthulhu eventually. And I think we have reached the early stages of this. This one has looked into the abyss. And the abyss is the one to look away first because, dear God, that is fucked up.
Fine. After being rejected by Saul Goodman, the Space Pope knows that she needs to marry someone who will truly help the Chatlantis Empire. And it just so happens that a new leader has entered DougDoug, the famous ex-Mormon FBI agent turned farmer Jim. And the Space Pope is hot and rich. And so the Space Pope...
And technically divorced, depending on how much she was married to Saul Goodman. Oh my God.
Tracks down Jim in DougDoug and proposes a marriage. Jim hesitates at first, but then he realizes that the Space Pope is extremely attractive.
She's rich.
Plus, she's rich. No! So he decides to accept her proposal. The Space Pope tells Jim they'll have 2 kids and the Space Pope will raise them as her own grandchildren.
Why grandchildren?
I'm going 2 more. Call it off, Jim. This will allow Jim to keep the farm while giving him a family and a legacy. Jim accepts the Space Pope. Space Pope congratulates herself for finding a good man, and then she tells Saul Goodman that she's ready to leave for New Mexico. God damn it, Jim.
They stole Jim, who has all the secrets of DougDoug's special Mormon FBI and all their Mormonness secrets.
Fuck! All I have is corn again. How?
And they have Jim.
How the fuck do I get Idaho? How do I get Idaho, man? I feel like Idaho is the key to unlock Washington. My army is still dead. You know what I'll do? Since all I have is corn, I'm going to offer corn to Idaho, and I will let them know that they could make cornflakes with them. Maybe Idaho really fucking wants cornflakes. If I take Idaho, everything's fixed. Before Jim could begin working for DougDoug, he was swept off his feet by a beautiful and rich Space Pope and eloped with her to the Empire of Chatlantis. And now, without their beloved Jim, DougDoug has to resort back to corn. But they have a plan. The Idahoan farmers might not be persuaded by warfare, but they might be persuaded by cornflakes, which you could make from all the corn. So the DougDoug Emperor travels to the governor of Idaho and gives him an offer. Mr. Governor, please join our empire. We have bountiful corn harvests, and our top scientists believe that you could invent a cornflake cereal from them with the right technology. If you join DougDoug, cornflakes could...
He's literally trying to take over a state with the approach of, hey, you like General Mills? Oh. And yet somehow, because of the music in the background, it sounds so much more epic. Oh my God.
Could be yours.
The song does do it.
Take the bait,
really
you
does work.
son of a bitch. The Emperor's right. By adding cornflakes to their diet, the Idahoans would consume millions of kilograms of corn every day. I don't have that much.
How much
and
kilograms?
This corn will become a major source of income. The Empire of DougDoug is willing to give Idaho everything they need to create cornflakes. Very well, says the governor. But first things first, I'll send one of my men to inspect your corn crop. Once I'm satisfied with its quality, we can
it can still go wrong.
Price. Come on, like my corn, like my corn. The Emperor happily agrees, but he has a small concern. Will the inspection process take long? Oh no, says the governor. Won't take more than 2 days.
Is it going to blow up?
2 days later, the Idahoan army arrives at the Empire of DougDoug. They have 10,000 soldiers, and they march at their enemies. Those motherfuckers! The Emperor and his...
They actually betrayed him. Oh, sorry. The AI, it really loves fucking over DougDoug's team. Like, It's probably all the genocide it gave them first off. It's just punishing it for enjoying it.
Advisors watch from afar. Maybe they're coming in peace. Should we stop them? Asked the Emperor. No, says Saul. What the fuck is Saul? Let them come. We'll win against these farmers. Trust me. The Emperor believes Saul. And so Saul prepares to face the army alone? The Dakotan army arrives at the border. Halt, shouts one of the soldiers.
What?
Who are you? Shouts Saul. We are the Idaho army. And who are you? I
Saul
am General William Tecumseh Sherman. William Tecumseh Sherman, asked Saul. Are you sure that's your real name? Yes, I invented my own name. You can call me Iron Balls Sherman.
Really, me? This is the part that gets me. This is the part. I mean, further proof that I am 5, and we all are aware that my humor literally lives at this level. And yet it still works. I hate myself for this, but it does actually work.
And who do you work for? Asked Saul. I work for the king of North Dakota, okay? North Dakota, asked Saul. What does it have to do with anything? Nothing, asked Iron Balls. But it makes me sound tough. Saul has a feeling there's something wrong with the general. Where's your king? Shouts Saul. I demand to see him immediately. I am the king of North Dakota, yells the general, and you shall never see him. That's not possible. That shouts Saul. I just saw him yesterday. Impossible, cries out the general. I was in Canada. Saul is stunned by this revelation. He wonders how the general could lie about something like that. Says Saul, I hope you had fun in Canada. Canada!
Are we actually watching an AI develop Alzheimer's? Or dementia? I don't know, but it kind of feels like it.
Screams the general. I was in Quebec. I didn't go anywhere near Canada. Quebec? Why would you go to Canada? I hate...
Oh, shots fired. This is a very contentious statement because, on the one hand, Quebec is Canadian. On the other hand, I'm American. I only know a little bit about how there is a lot of drama about Quebec considering itself Canadian. I'm not going to touch on that. I know a hot button issue when I see it, and I'd like to do that intentionally rather than unintentionally.
Canada, screams the general. I think it's a horrible country. I wanted to see the world, but I was denied entry into Russia and France. Okay, can I
Why those two?
The Empire of Dakota decides to leave the decision to Saul. Saul doesn't want to fight, but he wants to get rid of the Idahoans as soon as possible. If the Idahoans join Dakota, the Empire will be able to buy the Dakotans food and cornflakes. Will we? And if the Idahoans refuse, then the Empire can destroy them. But Saul decides to play along. He pretends to consider the idea of allowing the Idahoans to join Dakota.
What?
No, don't pretend. Please consider that real. But he knows that if he lets the Idahoans in, he'll eventually run out of corn. True. So he convinces the Emperor to give him a couple of days to come up with a solution. The Emperor agrees, and Saul heads back to DougDoug. Okay, DougDoug's my capital, right?
Yeah.
Saul is back in DougDoug and begins working on a solution. He realizes that he needs to get the Emperor to agree to some terms, and if the Emperor agrees, then he'll have leverage over the Emperor. Give me 2 days, demands Saul to the Emperor, and I will solve this problem. The Emperor agrees to Saul's proposal, but Saul still doesn't know what to do. He has to figure out a way to convince the Idahoans to join Dakota.
Okay, one, he hasn't reached a resolution yet, so I get why he's keeping going. But I thought he only had 2 extra bits of information before he had to stop. And so far, it looks like it just kind of fell apart. Granted, it's his show. He can do whatever he wants. And he's losing so badly. There is no way for him to catch up. He might as well let it play out to see what happens. Granted, every other time he's just done that, it's usually he loses more. God.
Okay, so we're still sort of focused here. Otherwise,
Sort
the
of?
Empire will
Really?
starve. In the meantime, Saul meets with several other people who are trying to help the Empire. One of them is a man named Mel. He works for a company called PepsiCo. Do I
my
get
God.
PepsiCo? I guess we haven't confirmed where that is.
Does that mean Coca-Cola
Mel says,
goes
Saul,
to
do you have any ideas about how we can
Chatlantis?
convince the Idahoans to join Dakota? Maybe we should try advertising, suggests Mel. With enough money, we could sell them cornflakes and they join us in...
No. No. You're talking... You know, I know the end of Mad Men was a reference to the initial Coca-Cola ad about it, give the world a Coke. But at this point, they're going to flip it around and go full on Mad Men as a resource to advertise Pepsi and corn. Sorry, I just had the horrible idea of eating corn and then nothing but Pepsi, and it just literally made me feel nauseous. Ew.
no time. Sounds good, says Saul, but you know how much money we're talking about?
No.
Answers Mel. But if you want to get rich, you've got to spend money. Classic
Accurate.
Mel. Saul is already rich, but he knows he can't just sit around waiting for the Emperor to come up with a solution, so he goes to meet the Emperor. Mr. Governor, says Saul, I need your help.
Yeah,
help
got
with
demotion.
what? Asks the governor. How do we convince the Idahoans to join
different
Dakota?
person.
Don't worry, says the governor. I'll figure something out. And that's exactly what Saul did. He met with all the other companies in Dougtown, and they created a huge ad campaign for months. They advertised the Empire's corn harvest. This has gotta work. And they told the Idahoans that Dakota would give them everything they needed to become wealthy. And it worked! The Idahoans were convinced they believed the Empire could provide them with food and cornflakes. And they decided to join Dakota. And now the Empire has 50,000 soldiers who are ready to fight. Let's go! I got Idaho! Huge play from Saul fucking Goodman, dude.
So not only did he get Idaho, he got Pepsi, which admittedly should pronounce as a detriment, and 50,000 soldiers. So I guess letting it play out helped. He's still losing, but by less.
Oh! And I want to give a big shout out, by the way, huge shout out
Jim.
to Mel from PepsiCo for giving Saul the idea. All right, I'm back on the board. Let's go. I get Washington.
though?
That's 2 more. I'm up to 8.
Are you
All
back
right,
on the
chat,
board?
you guys are up. Where are you going? Send Jim in a shuttle to the to the sun. Don't fucking whatever. I don't care. Jim is
Iron
dead
balls
to me.
to
A lot of people are
George
saying kill
Atlantis.
Saul Goodman. How do you want to kill him? I need more details than that. Oh, hit him with a missile.
Idaho, sponsored by Pepsi.
God, classic Idaho. Send Saul to the coal mine. Oh, send Jim to assassinate Saul Goodman. And he's a former
My
FBI
God.
agent.
I
Mormon
changed my
FBI.
mind. Divorce Jim and marry Iron Balls.
You guys can't take Iron Balls from me. He's all I got, chat. All right, your options. Invade Idaho. Convince Iron Balls to
Yes.
join Chatlantis. Wait, hold on. Before you vote for this, he is not a resource. You won't get him as a... That's not a point, because I don't have him as a point right now. Wait, hold on. If you give me Iron Balls as a special resource, and then...
You heard it here, folks. Chat giving DougDoug a case of iron balls. I hear it's contagious. Use safe chatting. Make sure to use a VPN or you might get a case of it yourself. Oh, oh my God, I don't even...
then you try to take it from me, that's fair. New poll. Is old Iron Balls a special resource? What's fascinating here is that this is
Oh
a
my
strictly
God.
bad play. This is
Yes.
not, like, this is just giving me an advantage and no
No,
advantage to you
no,
guys,
it's
'cause
not.
You don't inherently, like, have an advantage by Iron Balls existing, which means that you guys are just so infatuated with old Iron Balls the General that you were willing
Yep.
to give me a point just for a chance to take him from me. Okay, as part of that acquisition, I also get General Iron Balls as a special resource. That's another point. So even with the option to send the Space Pope to marry General Iron Balls, you still
Whoa.
want Jim to assassinate Saul Goodman instead. Man, you guys
My
fucking
God.
hate Saul Goodman.
It
He
makes an
betrayed
insane
you.
amount of sense for Iron Ball to be the kid, because the kid was the son of the North Dakotan king and General Iron Balls
Oh, you're
said
right.
he was the North Dakotan king now.
Dude, somehow the canon has actually connected back to my war crimes at the beginning
Oh.
of this. After Jim
Shit,
and the
that actually
Space
made
Pope
sense.
get married and have a romantic, sexy honeymoon, the Space Pope sits down with Jim and asks a favor. Dearest Jim, I love you more than all my money because I'm hot and rich, but there's a traitor to the Chatlantis Empire who must be brought to justice. You can use your skills as a former Mormon FBI agent to assassinate him. You must kill Saul Goodman. Jim agrees. So Saul Goodman goes to New Mexico and meets up with the
what?
Space Pope. He apologizes for having sex with her daughter and promises he'll never do it again. We do need to... Where's Jim? Saul Goodman returns to New Mexico and starts working on another lawsuit to annex New Mexico. You already have New Mexico. After a few...
That took a wrong turn in Albuquerque. And considering they're coming from New Mexico, I think that's even accurate. Unless it's in a different state, in which case, okay.
months, the Space Pope calls Jim and tells him she's pregnant. She tells him that she's pregnant with his child. Jim is shocked and immediately goes to a lawyer to look over his contract. He found out he can't fire her without paying a fine. So he stays
What?
quiet, but he still feels conflicted. Then Jim goes to assassinate Saul Goodman. Where the hell did
They are
that
going
come
Mad
from?
Men without the
Saul's in
Mad
his
Men.
office when Jim arrives. Saul takes off his sunglasses, and Jim sees that Saul's eyes are covered in tattoos. So he shoots him. You son of a bitch! Saul has a heart attack and dies. 1 week later, Jim...
I mean, yeah, it's like the shock of being shot after your eyes are tattooed isn't enough to give you a heart attack. It's the classic way. It's like people don't die of bullets. They die of heart attacks from being near bullets. It's just how that goes. That's just science.
Runs into the Pope in the grocery store and asks her, "Hey, Space Pope, is Saul dead?" She smiles and replies, "Yes, he's gone." Jim looks at her suspiciously. "How'd you know?" "I can read minds. Your mind is saying I killed Saul Goodman."
Well, now she's a mind-reading Space Pope.
The scourge of Chatlantis is finally gone, even though he's the man who got you most of your empire. By the way, you guys just killed the commissioner of the NFL. Jim takes over. Man, you guys fucking love Jim. My army is back. I'm going for Washington, and I can take their Starbucks. Besides, I just got...
Please tell me it's an army of over-caffeinated people who just go crazy. I just want them to lose to that. That would be hilarious.
50,000 soldiers because of my Idahoan ad campaign. Right as Saul tries to figure it out, he is assassinated by Jim, the ex-Mormon FBI agent. Saul Goodman is dead and will not come back ever. But it doesn't matter because DougDoug now has a new secret weapon.
General
Iron Balls Sherman, who leads the Idahoan army. So General Iron Balls marches his army of 50,000 soldiers and farmers up to the borders of Washington State and begins to invade. If they win, they can take all of Starbucks. Washington State's governor, Sam Brownback, is worried.
Who?
He knows that the Emperor of DougDoug has thousands of soldiers and farmers, but he doesn't know much about their strength. "General Iron Balls," shouts the governor, "can you please call me back? I need information." "Sorry," says Iron Balls, "my phone is broken." The governor...
He says into his phone. You know what? In anyone else, this would be a random issue with the AI, but we've already established the AI is writing someone who is deeply mentally broken. So yeah, no. Talking into your phone, it's like, "I'm sorry, I can't talk to you. My phone is broken. Need to get that fixed." Is perfectly in character with him. He is, oh God, he's literally a scary movie side character. Or better yet, someone who would be an airplane and play a serious role. You know, new headcanon. General Iron Balls is played by Liam Neeson. No, wait, different person. Leslie Nielsen. It's the L and the N. They always get me confused. I mean, they have such similar acting styles. It's like in Taken when he went up to someone like, "I am serious, and stop telling me you're going to take my daughter." It's just a classic line.
Doesn't understand why his general is lying to him. "I don't have time to explain," says Iron Balls. "Just send the Empire's army home." "Why?" asks the governor. "They have hundreds of thousands of soldiers." "Hundreds of thousands of soldiers," laughs Iron Balls. "Don't be stupid." "Yeah, it's like 50,000. "You mean to tell me that you came all the way from Idaho?" asks the governor. "And you haven't killed anyone?" "I haven't killed anyone." "Are you crazy?" asks Iron Balls. "I just came here to talk to the Idahoans. Now get out of my way or else I'll destroy your city." What is going on? The governor's scared. He knows
is he
that the
taking
Empire
over his
will
own
attack
town?
his city in a few hours, and so he sends out the Oregonian army. Wait, what? They've allied? But before the Oregonians can arrive, Saul Goodman comes down from heaven and destroys the armies of...
They literally got Jesus Saul. They killed him. There's no way he can come back. Surprise, bitch.
Dakota! What the fuck, Saul? Am I dead? I lose? Planned. This was not fucking planned. There's no way you planned for Jim to murder Saul so he comes down and destroys. Who is Saul? What is he doing? This was so planned. And you know what the worst part is? Now fucking Saul Goodman is back, canonically, which means you could hire him to take Oregon.
Jesus,
Shit.
Saul.
Is Saul an angel? Canonically, Saul is now also an angel, yes. Hire Saul Goodman to legally acquire heaven. Have Jim assassinate God. If we marry God, do we get him as a resource?
I mean, it is the Pope.
Yes.
That actually kind of
you're
works.
voting to have Saul Goodman try to acquire heaven. Technically, you could be on game point. If you get both heaven and God, or heaven and like Oregon or something. Good luck, chat.
I mean, it's no difference. Oregon, heaven. I mean, it goes either way. Also, considering how the last one ended when they acquired hell, sure, this actually makes thematic sense if they acquire heaven.
You are shooting for the stars here. But suddenly, Saul Goodman descended from heaven as an angel and destroyed the DougDoug army, saving Washington State from ruin. The Space Pope and Jim are shocked. Saul Goodman is back, and that means they can hire him again. So the Space Pope calls Saul. Saul Goodman, I am hot and rich and pregnant, and I can read minds. We've heard about your heavenly transformation and the Empire of Chat.
Yeah, I did... It looks like a pregnant fish. And yeah, This looks like something out of Dune. Two different things. It's like they missed the Bene Gesserit with the navigators. And oh, wow, I did not need to see that. That is absolutely disturbing.
Minds, we've heard about your heavenly transformation, and the Empire of Chatlantis has a proposal. We would like you to sue God and legally acquire heaven for our empire. Will you do it, Saul? Will you legally get us heaven?
Well, he remember
Saul
they
looks
killed
into the
him.
Space Pope's eyes and replies, "Of course, my love. I'd do anything for you." Don't they hate each other? The Space Pope thanks him and hangs up. Then she calls Jim. Uh-oh. "Dear Jim, I'm pregnant with your child. I'm also still hot and rich. But there's something else you should know. Saul Goodman is suing God for ownership of heaven, and we think he might win. There's no fucking way. So if you ever want to see your wife again, you'd better join us." So Jim joins the Empire of Chatlantis, and together they sue God. God takes the case to the Supreme Court of the United States, where they agree that heaven belongs to the Chatlantis Empire. Oh,
what?
Supreme Court again. Fuck. Okay, chat, you've got 5 states, the moon, and heaven. I can still get Washington, though.
I don't think you win this one.
Not taking over the Supreme Court and instead focusing on corn.
How was I supposed to
classic
know
mistake.
the Supreme Court would give you heaven? I have to go for Washington again because I get the 2 points, and I need that before you guys take it. I'm offering them General Iron Balls. That's all I got. Washington people don't like corn. I'll say they can have General Iron Balls as their king if they join my empire. With their army destroyed, the Dakota Empire now must use diplomacy to expand the empire. No one has wanted their corn, but they know they've got one thing that's irresistible. General Iron Balls Sherman, the lifelong North Dakotan. The Washington people might not want their corn, but every
Yes, the long Iron Balls Sherman. Iron 5. This video is reminding me of it.
Everybody wants Iron Balls as their king. So the Empire of Dakota formally offers Iron Balls to Washington's governor in exchange for an alliance into the empire. I really explained what I want here. Please give it to me. The governor agrees and General Iron Balls becomes the governor of Washington State. So I win? I got it, right? But it turns out that Iron Balls has a very hard time running a state. He doesn't understand the concept of taxes, and he doesn't really care about Washington.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm considering this for 5 turns. Unless Iron Balls ruins Washington State, I think I get Washington. He's more concerned with finding a wife. "Is there anyone you like?" asks the Emperor. "Or do you want to marry a girl from North Dakota?" "A girl from North Dakota? Okay, 4 more? I thought you said you like girls from Washington." "I do," says the Emperor, "but I also want a wife from North Dakota. She'll be much easier to control." "Oh," says Iron Balls, "but I don't know any North Dakota girls." "Then you'll just have to find someone else," says the Emperor. "It's fine." Are they going to talk about Washington? Or
No.
Iron Balls is upset. He thinks that the Emperor is being unfair. In his eyes, the Emperor's only goal is to make sure he gets married to a North Dakota girl. Okay, this is it. As long as I don't lose Washington. If you think I'm going to marry any North Dakota girl, says Iron Balls, you're wrong. And so Iron Balls leaves the Empire. No! It takes him 3 years to travel back to North Dakota where he finds a woman named Mary. Fuck! I still have Washington.
I guess he quit.
I still have Washington. I just lost Iron Balls. Why did I go 1 more? Fuck! Chat, you guys are up. You're on game point. You have 12 points total. If you get to 13, you've won. Pope is getting more hot and pregnant by the minute.
I just realized what he just said, and if they make more AI on that, that will be really disturbing. Even more than the already disturbing ones.
Okay, offer God an NFL team if he joins. That's a pretty good
Technically,
one.
they already
Pope
acquired
Jim, try to marry God. Recruit Iron Balls into the Empire. Send Jim to try to marry God. God could be your winning ticket. Ask God and Saul Goodman to legally acquire the Sun. Hear me out. Ask Saul Goodman to legally acquire God. All right, here are your options. Okay, Saul Goodman, can he close out the game for you? Can he acquire God?
I mean, they got hell last time. Why not go heaven here?
And that's point 13. Here we go. But technically, Chatlantis doesn't own God, and they know that their utopian empire will only be complete if the Heavenly Father joins Chatlantis. Only then will they have truly dominated DougDoug in the race to take over America. But how on earth could they get God to join the empire? What person could possibly accomplish such a task? That's when it hit them, and the space pope called Saul. Saul Goodman, she explained, your work is almost done, and I am hot and rich and psychic and pregnant, but one final task remains.
Why are they doing Skyrim in the background?
Legally acquire God into the Chatlantis Empire. Please do this for me. For Jim, give us God, Saul. Saul looks at her and replies, okay, my love, here's the plan. On the day of judgment, God will send a prophet to tell people to repent and follow Christ.
Okay,
wow,
we're
getting into it. Okay. The prophet will travel across the country, spreading the word of salvation. When he arrives in Chatlantis, the space pope will give him a book. It will contain all the laws of the the Empire, and it will show him the path to eternal bliss. Wait, are you guys gonna try to get Jesus to join? What does the prophet have to do with me? The Space Pope asked. Saul replies, he has to kill you and capture your soul as his own. And Saul leaves New Mexico. He travels to DC and meets up with the Space Pope. Together, they create a plan to capture the prophet. You're trying to kidnap Jesus. 2 weeks later, the prophet arrives in Washington, DC.
Okay, so let me get this straight. They decide to legally marry God or to get him into the Empire, but instead it has devolved into capturing Jesus to kill the Pope, which also would technically reduce them a resource, so they would still be stuck at 12, but I don't think that would count at this point. It just... Okay. Easy plan. Kidnap Jesus. Step 1. Step 3, prophet.
Dressed in a white robe and he has a long hair and beard. Can they do it? His name is Jesus of Nazareth.
Oh, it actually is explicitly
to preach about salvation. The prophet will walk through the capital city of Washington, D, telling everyone that he is a messenger from God. People will believe him and they'll gather around him. And then Saul Goodman will appear. He'll stop the prophet and shoot him in the head. Saul says this as if it were a normal thing to do. Wait, so it hasn't happened.
So they're going to assassinate Jesus.
Yet. Okay, wait. Okay. So Saul and the Space Pope make the necessary preparations to wait for Jesus. A couple days later, the Space Pope receives a phone call from the prophet. He tells her, I am here in DC. Wait, Jesus called the Pope? I'm here in DC. I haven't seen Saul yet, but I've already captured his partner. She's in a room full of rats. Oh no!
Oh yes,
the Space Pope and slave. Saul's gonna kill both of us. What should I do? Just act normal. Tell Saul that everything is okay. Don't panic, and don't let anyone in the room see you. Just stay hidden, and maybe a miracle will save us.
Oh, wow. I am really hoping none of my family see this, because while we might not be the most religious family, no, actually they would laugh off their asses, but the problem is then they would never stop talking about it, and honestly, after a couple hours, it would get annoying. Oh,
maybe a miracle will save us all, the Space Pope whispers. The prophet hangs up and the Space Pope puts her hand over her face to hide it. Then she looks at Saul and tells him, Saul, I'm scared. Come with me. Saul follows her and they go into a secret room filled with rat cages. There's Jesus tied up with a rope. Wait, so I think Saul...
Technically, if you look on certain off-brand websites, those are things you can find. I think they involve Mary Magdalene.
Goodman captured Jesus. He's blindfolded and gagged, and he's sitting in a chair surrounded by rats. They're all over him, even in his mouth. And thus, Saul Goodman and the Space Pope successfully kidnapped Jesus Christ, including a very long torture scene, which we will now skip. And that, ladies and gentlemen...
Wait, they actually went in? There was a torture scene? Yeah, thank you for skipping that one.
Is how the great empire of Chatlantis earned their 13th point and officially took over the United States of America. Congratulations. But what is the point of taking over America if you still don't have an NFL commissioner? I give you 3 chances. 20 gifted subs if Jesus joins the NFL. But I just have one more question.
Oh my God.
This question is the real reason we kidnapped and tortured you, Jesus. Yes, ask Jesus. Will you become the new commissioner of the NFL? Why do you want that? Because I want football season to start, so I can watch my favorite team play.
God,
says Jesus.
I don't.
See, I can help you. This is 2 because I know a guy who can make sure the Super Bowl never ends.
Is it?
Thank you.
Please say it's Saul. Please say it's Saul.
Please untie me. I have to go tell Saul the good news. One more. Jesus undoes the ropes around the prophet's hands, and the Space Pope leads him out of the secret room. As soon as they leave, Saul appears with his gun and shoots him in the head. No deal. Saul assassinated.
Did they just undo
Jesus.
the win?
You still have no commissioner. You might have the moon and Saul Goodman and heaven and Jesus, but you still got no NFL commissioner. Suck it, chat.
You know what they say, come for the iron ball, stay for the heresy, because that's apparently a DougDoug video at this point. Last time around, it was taking over hell or being bought out by it, depending on how you look at it. This time around, it's legally acquiring God with Saul Goodman, proving that if you can use loopholes in the law and your name is Saul Goodman, you can do anything. I mean, dear God. They literally just captured Jesus that the AI spawned in. They weren't even talking about him, and the AI brought him in, tortured him to get him to go for it, and then had him destroy the NFL. What the fuck was this? This is insane. I can see why a lot of people told me this is one of the most insane videos DougDoug has ever done, because if anything tops this, I will literally just be going in the background going, as opposed to normal where I'm in the background going, oh, that fuck. It's a slight difference, but it's a very important one. I'm not sure how, but if I find out, I'm sure I'll probably have to be committed to some asylum at some point. Basically, what I'm saying is this was a blast, and I know there are other invading series he's done, but I don't know if I should do that or one of the others because he's apparently put out so many videos that I don't know what to go for next. So if you know what I should check out next from DougDoug, let me know, because this entire series, the first invading Europe, invading America, those were suggestions, and they were some of the funniest things I've seen, and I love this. DougDoug is so insane. His settings, everything he creates with AI, everything that brings in chat is so off the wall and just completely lacking in reason that it makes it for some of the best things I react to ever, because I just absolutely love this. This is the equivalent of a reaction that's a pile of sugar and just said, hey, go to town. And I'm okay with that. Also because apparently I'm 5 and I enjoy the style of humor. So yeah, if you know what I should check out next, let me know. I'll take the suggestion. And otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one, whatever it happens to be. Adios.